There are tales of a lich in the city, one of which lies in the docks district next to the inn. So we'll look into that before confronting Bodhi in her vampire lair. A lich is a great enemy, and we've faced a few of them already. With a great enemy comes great treasure, not just in gold, but in magical equipment that I am sure we can use. We were a little disappointed that the chastity belt didn't fade into dust like the drow weapons and armor, but at least Cromwell informed us how to get rid of it. It will delay our wedding, though, as before we leave Athkatla to get rid of it, we have things we must do first. Now as to that archer's amulet that I believe that Adelon left for me the last time we were together. I've spoken to Ajantis about it. I didn't want to remove the necklace with the drawings of him and myself in it, my keepsake locket. But as for how things are right now, we will need all the help we can get, and he's well aware of how my bow can turn the tide of the battles we find ourselves in. So he encouraged me to put it away, and to use the archer's amulet. I'll put my keepsake locket in my bag of holding for now. I wanted to keep it close to me before the wedding, and when I lost my soul, I wanted to keep it closer. It has a lot of meaning to me. It is just one of those things that, no matter how long you live for, even after Ajantis would have died to old age, I would have kept it among my belongings to remind me of what my life used to be like. I had the impression that it would get me through the loss of my soul, and it was difficult for me to take it off. But that's just the last vestiges of my feelings that I have without my soul. It's like I've slowly become unglued. I know I'll get my soul back, but the fear of it not happening is what is getting to me. It's paralyzing at times. At least, I've contained the urge to turn into the Slayer. Getting really angry or unhappy leads to losing control. I am able to manage the negative emotions that I am left with. I just cannot let my little bit of despair over my lost soul turn into something greater. I'm not sure that we can fully trust Aaron Linvale after what happened with Saemon Havarian. But again, what choice do I have? I guess it's possible that Saemon did the betrayal on his own, but at the least, our allies against Bodhi are growing. We have business with the Temple of Ilmater now, before we get to anything else. We're in the Temple of Ilmater in the slums.
It will be done.
Seeing to something that needs to be done. Greetings to you, my sister, and welcome to a refuge for the suffering and those in need. Ilmater offers shelter and healing to all those who desire it. What is it I can do for you? I have a strange request, brother. I have the heart of a man that died in shame. Interesting, though not unheard of. We often try to guide those that have already fallen. Some live well and then fall unexpectedly. Tell me of this man. Yoshimo, a friend that was forced into treachery. He begged that Ilmater spare his soul from the hell he was promised. Yoshimo, you say? I believe I know of this man. He came here a few weeks ago, as night was falling, and seemed to be in great distress, but would not disclose what harrowed him. He donated a substantial sum of gold, and asked that I store certain personal effects here. He'd prefer not to be caught dead with them, or because of them, he said. I just hope he finds some peace in death, at least. I see. Events took him further than he expected, and he suffered as he struggled between duty and conscience. I have seen such torment in souls before. Very well. We shall take his heart into the breast of Ilmater. The crying god will determine what torment is deserved or not. If there is suffering undeserved, this Yoshimo will see relief in his eternal rest. Well, that makes me feel a little relieved. With what feelings I still have. Tell me, have you forgiven this man for his treachery? Yes, his treachery pained me. It pains me, but it pained him as well. I wish things could have ended differently. I see. If that is the case, perhaps you would like to have a look at what he left here? I believe he meant to come back for his things if he survived, but it seems you have come in his stead. If you still feel the pain of his betrayal, whatever you find may provide you with some consolation, or at least answers. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Good, just let me get his things then. Here, I hope you find what you seek. Fare you well. His sword is Wakashazi, which is absolutely no use to us, but his journal. 2 of us have gained in skill. So, Minsk first. Did he gain any new priest spells? Yes, he did. Good berries. And cure medium wounds. And now, Airy. Abilities. New ability. Oh, she already has summoned Diva. Ah, look at this. Comet, improved alacrity, Dragon's Breath, summon Planetar. That's a little bit above her ability at the moment, though. Implosion. What is that? The spell creates a rift in the earth beneath the target, which implodes and closes in upon itself, crushing and burning the target, and holding it for a little while. Does a lot of fire damage. And blunt damage. Wow. And then there's Mass Raised Dead, which is interesting. Maybe we should go with that for now. Mass Raised Death. Mass Raised Dead. Raised Dead. So she has a new... so here's Lesser Restoration. Death Ward. Huh. Okay. So, for now, we'll go with heal. Cure serious wounds. Spells can always be changed later. Flame Strike. That's always a nice spell. Okay, we're good for now. Let's get out of here so I can read that book. I suppose it's his journal?
Certainly.
Oh, is this bandits?
Oh,
Seriously? That is a strange bow you have there, Imoen.
You will fall by my hand.
Oh, we do need these, actually.
Gotcha. Yes, without doubt.
Okay, let's stay at the Copper Coronet. We have light. I can't rightly read in the dark now, can I? Yoshimo's journal. Yoshimo hasn't been very conscientious about keeping a diary. The first pages are filled with haphazard notes of tasks completed, rewards collected, friends gained, and enemies befuddled. A few letters written on fine paper in elegant, feminine hand have been stowed between the pages, with some amused remarks scribbled in the margins. Although still not very orderly, more regular entries began a little over a year ago. 29th of Myrtle, 1358. We went over some old letters. It has been 3 years since I saw Tomoko. That can't be right. The Suave set sail at high tide. Captain's niece is possessed of a most inconvenient keenness for imported goods. I suppose it's a vain hope that she'd have no stomach for the sea, so I wouldn't need to keep to my cabin to avoid her. Second mate seems card sharp enough. 13 Elent, 1358. Athkatla is as pleasantly avaricious as ever, but some elaborately disinterested sneaks people patrol outside my inn, throwing dirty glares my way every time I pass by. The Thieves Guild obviously feels I'm overstaying my welcome again. Maybe I should concentrate on finding Tomoka for a change. Tomoka was his sister. She lived, actually. She challenged me. She wanted me to kill her, but I got her to walk away before confronting Saravok, my half-brother. I didn't know Tomoka was his sister. Well, these are very unusual names for being out here in this area of Faerun, so I assume it is his sister. No sense in heading out to the mountains at night, biding my time in Crimor, listening to the word about town. To my surprise, heard a few travelers talk about that Saravok fellow that Tomoko has mentioned. It is his sister, definitely. Great expectations, connections to the Iron Throne, cuts a fine figure, casts a dark shade, same man. Sounds like he has caused some kind of stir in Baldur's Gate. She has written of him often, but little. He sounded like trouble, but I trust she has had the good sense to stay out of it. She did sound quite committed to him, though. 25th of Vilent, 1358. Spent the night at the jovial Jugger and Beargost. A drunken mercenary insisted on sampling my katana, either end of it. Distracted him with an order to the innkeeper to bring a sample from several of his barrels and to keep them coming. Before disappearing somewhere under the table for what I expect to be the better part of the week, the man slurred a few alarming things about the ruckus back down in Baldur's Gate. I can only hope Tomoko hasn't been involved. According to the gentleman, everyone is now so very excited about someone called Orin, who has done in that Saravok and all. He went on to pontificate, however, that something's just not right about that Orin either, that one day this new toast of the town will flip out just like the last one. Apparently he has seen both Saravok and Orin once, from afar, across a crowd, maybe, so he would know. 8th of Marpanoth, 1358. Scouring the streets of Baldur's Gate for the past few days and nights, Iron Throne headquarters in a state of embarrassing disarray, found the inn Tomoko mentioned as her last resort, dingy, bootleg, beneath her. Spotted her in the innkeeper's book under a false name, with a bill left behind on 12th Flame Rule. Snuck out before the man thought of making me pay up. 10th of Marpanoth, 1358. Heard a couple of Flaming Fist soldiers talk about Orin, who single-handedly slew that nutcase bastard Saravok and all his followers. They went on to describe her flaming eyes, thundering voice, and 7-mile stride. I left. 11th of Marpanoth, 1358. A slip of paper torn from an account book, marked with the symbol of Kelemvor, is folded between the pages of the journal. Kelemvor is the god that welcomes you into the afterlife. If you do not believe in the gods, you are actually placed within a wall, and I believe over time you disappear into nothingness. Kind of awful. But Kelemvor took over from the previous gods of the afterlife. Quite a bit of history there. Human female, age approximately 30. Karaturn? Alley near Black Dragon Gate. No overt signs of violence or disease. Cause of death, magical? Full plate, male, inscribed with Banite insignia. Oriental character, filigreed in gold over the heart, sold to sorceress sundries for 17,000, buried. She did die then. That must have been Tomoko. 13th of Marpanoth, 1358. Either Saravok or Orin may have killed her, but she did believe in Saravok at the time, and Saravok is beyond my revenge. Saravok couldn't have killed her because she left, and then I went in and killed Saravok, and I didn't kill her. So something else must have happened. 15th of Marpanoth, 1358. Some festival or another was celebrated in the city, and I saw Orin from a distance near the ducal palace. She did not look like someone who could manage to kill my sister. 16th of Marpanoth, 1358. I dreamed of Tomoko, as I often do now, but I remember very little of my dream. Only her face is branded under my eyelids, after image of the sun. 18th of Marpanoth, 1358. I was noticed. A pallid woman in black leather stopped me tonight in the tavern where I sat, watching Orin. You are the talented young man who has been asking so many questions about Orin, she said, and shoved her cold cleavage at me. Don't worry, your violent wishes will be granted before long. You need only do exactly as I tell you. This must have been Bodhi. She bid me follow her into the chill night and down the damp alleyways until we came to the place where the city forgets its nameless dead. There she pointed me to a grave among rows upon rows of graves, each recycled as the old inhabitants rot away. This one lay dug open. The woman opened the shoddy coffin, and therein lay Tomoko, tucked into her sleep like a child, dead. 20 of Marpanoth, 1358. Bodhi works for a masked man named Arenicus, at least in theory. They assure me that it was Orin who killed my sister, and that I will get revenge. Only first I must bring her to Arenicus, alive. 22 of Marpanoth, 1358. I need not dream in mirages anymore. I have the reality. Tomoko's face settled into an unnatural serenity that not even decay can disturb. She had not rotted. She's not going away. There is only one way to be certain, and even if I am wrong, none of us is innocent. One way or another, she will be avenged. 23rd of Marpanoth, 1358. Irenicus demanded an oath of me, a guise, so I swore it. I hardly even feel it now. It's only a pinch at the base of my skull. 8th of Alturic, 1359. Oren and her party were captured. Blood was shed, but Irenicus has caged my quarry as far away from me as possible, and trying to impress or force my point upon him proved most physically unwise. Irenicus caged my quarry as far away. Okay. Irenicus did promise, though, that sight would return to my right eye in a few days, and ordered me to apply proper patience to my vengefulness. We are heading south. 15th of Chess, 1359. In Athkatla, obviously, this underground fortress wasn't constructed in a day. Since we arrived, Irenicus has been busy making the full use of his new guests. He won't stand me in the way of his work, and I haven't made the mistake of sneaking over to steal a glance again. The screams get on my nerves, so I have wandered the streets to keep from thinking about what transpires underneath. Whatever it is he's doing to them, I wish he would hurry. 20th Chess, 1359. Bodhi has spent her time establishing herself in the streets of the city, preying on the shadow thieves. She too has definitely started on her work earlier, though. I try to steer clear of the short, brutal skirmishes. I feel a need to preserve even some measure of dissociation. 26th of Chess, 1359. Irenicus does not spare me much attention, and I have managed to study some papers of his that, I believe, were never meant for my eyes. There are a lot of notes about Oren, and about her potential. Earlier I was too crazed to wonder about his motives. 27th of Chess, 1359. One more note I found, an intercepted Iron Throne missive, with orders to the officials in the Baldur's Gate area to find and execute all and any former followers of Sarevok Anchev that happen to have survived Oren's assault. The throne brooks no double-dealing. The list includes, but is not limited to, Winsky Perorate, Angelo Dosan, Tazak the Ogre, who I ran into, actually, a conjurer named Semyaj, Scythandria, and Tomoko. Huh. It must have been them that killed her, then. Angelo Dosan, I haven't met since. Tazak the Ogre, we met, and I killed him. That was in Furkrag's little lair, right before his lair, the dragon's lair. 18th of Tarsak, 1359. Finally, Irenicus has plans for me, and Oren. He wants to lead Oren on a wild goose chase all the way to his next lair, some kind of test run of this alleged potential, and he wants me to infiltrate her group so that I can monitor their progress. Of course, I too must lie in a cage for a while first, for credibility. 25th of Tarsak, 1359. It's generally a bad idea to swear geese when you have grief in place of knees and brains. The following entry was obviously written in a hurry and left undated. Even though events did not proceed exactly as Irenicus had planned, the man is a master. After Oren's untimely escape, everything has clicked into place with frightening precision, and I am no closer to finding out if this is my revenge, this gloomy uncertainty. I have wound my way into Oren's company, indeed, and I don't know if she killed Tomoko. I do not know. Possible murderers abound. I owe my word to some of them. Yet now it makes no difference, does it? We're sailing for Spellhold tonight, but I'll be damned if I let anyone find this proof of despair in me. This is the last entry in the journal. About 1/3 of the pages remain empty. Oh, Yoshimo. Yes, I do wish that much better came from him. He didn't take that geese. Let's just rest tonight.
Awaken. Awaken and hear me.
Who is speaking to me?
I bring visions of warning, of what is happening now, and what may happen soon.
Who are you?
This image will speak true, for you are of two sides, and the liars have said their part. You travel in search of yourself, divided, splintered. There is a piece of you missing. The hole inside you fills with death, with darkness, while another, Irenicus, kills with your strength.
Oh.
Look at the destruction he has wrought. See the corruption that he brings.
The exile returns! Run, he comes this way!
He has stolen your future to replace his own, avoided his proper fate. This must be undone. For your sake and theirs, you must take back what has been stolen.
I certainly plan to.
If their lives are not enough, then think of your own. You will lose yourself to the hole within.
It's worth it just to save them as well. They're fellow elves like me, but even if they were just humans, of course I would still help.
Yours is the potential to be your own worst enemy, or your own savior.
Ugh. As I prepare to settle in for a well-deserved rest, I notice Imoen has pushed up her sleeves and is now examining her arms with a look of frustration and displeasure. A few minutes later, she pulls a small reflective metal plate out of her backpack and studies her face as well. Finally, with a quiet sigh, she tucks the plate away and rests her chin in her hands. She hasn't noticed me watching her. I approach her. A copper for your thoughts? She startles. Huh? Oh, sorry. Not quite all here tonight, I guess. What were you thinking about? I dunno. Stuff. Me? She looks down at her arms again. You ever notice how many scars we've gotten over the last year or so? I counted. 13 just on my arms. Probably got twice that on my back, I'm guessing. I even got that stupid scar on my face. Surely a bit of magic would fix that, wouldn't it? Maybe, but magic can't heal everything. Besides, you're missing the point. It's just ugly. I mean, sometimes I just hate looking at myself. Because you think that you're ugly. Well, sometimes, but also because I know how I got most of them, you know? Most of these scars, I remember him. I remember the knives, the smell, everything, and that's something I'll never get rid of. At least there's some from before. She taps a long scar across her left triceps. You put this one here, remember? Oh. It wasn't my fault that plate mail fell off the peg all by itself. Heh, no, wrong one. That one's up here. She uncovers her right shoulder to show me a small dark mark. And as I remember, it somehow fell while you were trying to see if there was something interesting inside. This one is from a while ago. We were walking out of Candlekeep Library, and you were all upset because you were stuck cleaning the stables. That happened a lot, actually. It was my turn, actually, but you know me. Got a silver tongue. I convinced Mr. G that it was your turn and that I'd done it the last time. Oh, you were so mad at me? Mainly because I started dancing around and singing this stupid little song, like, you gotta work, you gotta work. Guess I pushed it a bit far. Or maybe you had a bad day, or I don't know. Anyways, I got right up in your face and grinned and stuck my tongue out, and you shoved me backwards. You were strong, you know, even back then. Stronger than me, at least. And I just happened to land on that stupid pitchfork in the hay. Imoen follows the trail of the long scar on her arm. See? It went from here to here. It hurt a lot. Ouch, I didn't remember that one. I'm sorry, Imoen. Ha, don't worry about it. I got over it pretty quickly, and I learned my lesson about teasing you too much, that's for sure. Your face changed so much when you saw it, from anger to worry, like flipping a lever. You carried me over to Friendown, shouting and screaming like mad that you killed me or some such. I could have sworn it was Talona herself who was sewing me up. That's how bad it hurt. I remember someone saying that the wound cut so deep that the bone could be seen. Oh, okay, no, I remember this. You used to tease me a lot, though. And it wasn't the only time I shoved you. I do remember that. And every time I opened my eyes, I saw yours. So worried. Oh, and Gorion. Gorion was furious at us later. When he got back, and the hay was soaked with blood, and I'm barely conscious, and you're in a panic. Ah, the memories, you know? For being good kids, we sure got in a lot of trouble. I don't remember half of what you're saying. How can you remember it all so clearly? I've got a good memory for this kind of stuff, I guess. Or maybe it's you who has forgotten it all, with all your I am the child of Baal thing. She giggles, and I get a definite sense of déjà vu. course, having it cut into my skin does help jog the memory, huh? Like this one here on my shoulder. She smiles at the memory, whatever it might be. Or down here on my knee. And this one. Imoen looks puzzled. Huh? I don't remember this one. Actually, it's way too faded to be one of the new ones. She is talking about a small scar on the right side of her belly. She stretches the skin around it for me to see it clearly. Huh? The scar is in exactly the same place where the goblin stabbed her in your dreams. Imoen, remember when I told you about my dreams about you? That scar looks exactly like the one the goblin gave you. Really? Imoen pokes at it, stretches it this way and that. Do you remember that actually happening, though? A goblin in Candlekeep? Us outside the walls? It sounds impossible. I do remember it, yes. The damn thing looked lost, famished and desperate, like it was trying to sneak inside for food. The guard was changing, and we ran outside when their backs were turned. It was all an unfortunate coincidence. Huh? Imoen tilts her head, her eyes looking up and to the side. A slow smile creeps onto her lips. Yeah, I remember that. You grabbed a fat rock and caved the guy's head in, and then hauled me to Friendon. Boy, did Friendon have his hands full with us. And you said, I was crying, and I remember you saying, I'll always be there for you. Her smile turns heartfelt. I'll protect you from stupid goblins. She reaches for my hand and kisses the top of my fingers. If there's something I can count on, is for you to keep your promises. Can't believe I forgot about that. Then again, we were really young and had never been outside. Bet the whole incident kept us nice and obedient for at least a couple of years. You'd arrived barely a year before. You didn't even know all the rules yet. Imoen raises an eyebrow at me. What are you on about? You came to Candlekeep when you were about 10 years old? You know, your dream self told me that you remembered nothing of your life before Candlekeep. Is it true? Ha, what? That's ridiculous. You know I spent my entire life in Candlekeep. We grew up together, you bufflehead. That's not true, and you know it. Huh? I think I'd remember my own past, Orin. I spent all my life in Candlekeep, just like you. How in Ogma's name could you forget that? Imoen, it's you who doesn't remember it at all. You came to Candlekeep when you were 10 or so. Of that, I'm completely sure. That's not true. What the hell is wrong with you? My mom died giving birth, so Puffguts and Gorion took me in. Old Puffguts took care of me like I was his own daughter. Come on, we heard this story tons of times growing up. Imoen, I can assure you that this is not true. She glares at me, narrowing her eyes to thin slits, almost menacingly. Are you questioning my own memories, Orin? Well, prove that you were born in Candlekeep, then. Prove it? And how am I supposed to do that, you toadwort? Just tell me any memory you had from before you were 10. Imoen eyes me with reserve, quietly searching her memories. Her expression becomes slightly troubled. The first book you read, the two of us playing together, any familiar faces, no memories of anything until you were 10. Just give me a minute. Sheesh. I'm tired, and you ranting at me isn't helping. Give up, Imoen. There's no memory you can find. You were elsewhere. At first she looks embarrassed, but soon she frowns and angrily confronts me. Look, Orin, I know better than you what has happened in my life, got it? So let's drop this stupid conversation before I throw a fireball at your eyebrows. She shoves past me and starts to set up her bedroll, a good distance away from me and my troubling questions. It's clear as day that this conversation has disturbed her, badly. Good long rest at the end. That is very strange that she doesn't remember
hesitation. I never saw much of the cities from the circus.
Okay, so we have a lich to look into.
Like this?
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.